man. He said, look, this thing ain't going nowhere. This beverage ain't going nowhere. Here, let's jump in and see what we can do with it. And that's how I went into a most and told them, look, if we're doing this thing, we do it for the long haul. And I am not doing a best village play, I'm doing a play for best village. And that's why I went in, they were doing certain songs, certain dances. I looked at the songs, I looked at the dances. It really wasn't making sense. So I brought my own people in to train the voices, brought my own people in to work with them to dance. And I wrote a script called Vida Casaba. And Vida Casaba, I mean, that was the start of something that just became very exclusive. Vida Casaba, we redefined what theatre can be in West Village. It was the start of something I call West Village Theatre. Now, we should define it that way before we named Calgary Canada, the International Amateur Theatre Association Conference. And the rest was history.
Two questions leading from that, which I felt as we did, and speaking about West Village, I can tackle. Shannon had a question because to be in my group, she wants to find out basically if you see Tobago Heritage Festival as a dying form, and in addition to that, if you could change anything about it, what would you consider?
Well, I am the last to say dying because all of the arts spring from the folk. For all art to be authentic, to really converse, set up conversation with the population, it must come from the folk. And by the folk, I don't mean just the folk, I mean all of the folk elements, carnival, parang, chutney, all of the folk elements that spring from the people, what the people do, what is about our history, our heritage things, and our contemporary folk as we make it, as we make the folk. And therefore, all work in the folk, all work to take the folk idioms and help them to inscribe meaning in our lives is valuable. And it's work that deserves to continue. What one has to do is to plumb the depth of that folk tradition and to find ways to express ourselves through the folk and using the folk to embellish and to establish certain communicating points with the rest of the population. So I will not change anything per se. I mean, the Tobago wedding is a Tobago wedding. What can you change with the Tobago wedding? But that must happen. But the artists must find ways to extract from that whatever is needed to make art in these contemporary times. For instance, take the same Vida Casaba. I have drawn heavily at the Tobago wedding of Vida Casaba. But people don't realize it when they see it. But what talks to them inside there is that gut response to Tobago and to the Tobago wedding. The chant, the girl that she follows, she husband, the girl she follows, she husband. The girl that she follows, she husband. That is not a Tobago chant. It's not a brush back that they're dancing, but it has a lyric like it. It has a flavor of it. And all of the things that they say in that particular chant, all of the things that the chantrel says in that chant, are things that have come out of the Tobago wedding. You don't realize it when you hear it, but you respond based on that connection. And the fact that I bring the wedding procession through the audience, from the back of the hall, in a dance that mimics it. It is not a brushback, as is done in the Tobago wedding, but it's a dance. The brushback allows you to travel, and therefore it's a dance that they do that allows the procession to travel. And since it travels, you get a sense of the brushback. You get a sense it connects with things that you know. There's a visceral kind of connection that is made, and people respond. Right? That Tobago wedding, or that wedding segment of the Cassava always works. It always works, and it works with things happening on the stage, and things happening in the aisle, and things happening around the different aisles, and until the entire space becomes the wedding. You see? So there is a need for the folk to continue. There is a need for the Heritage Festival to continue. There is a need for the researchers to get inside there and do serious research work on the folk tradition in Tobago, so that they make real connections. So that they make real connections. There's a way in which you can have what a friend of mine calls fake folk. And I'm not talking fake folk now. We're talking real folk. But I'm saying that there are ways in which you can find line and form and color and style in the folk that translates into contemporary art. Our responsibility is to make art for our time, but to draw sustenance from the folk in doing so.
We're not sure for time, but what we need to do from here would be during time in ministry and government, and your thesis basically was to do with cultural policy and indifference.
Public policy.
Public policy and indifference of the governments to it, which as essentially my deal when I was part of the Trinity Council, we were working on youth policy. It was the same thing where you work hard and try to develop frameworks, and it went from a framework to action plan. Instead, so when the action finished, that is the long and the short of that. Why you had so much focus on policy? And how it affects, and how you think that having a cultural policy, a national cultural policy, would affect young artists.
Well, okay, there's a way in which we tend to see the lack, in quotes, the lack of a national cultural policy as the thing that leads to a kind of inaction in terms of culture, or a kind of wild and crazy action in terms of culture, or a kind of wild, crazy, uncoordinated action on the part of governments in terms of culture. I don't agree with that. And I don't agree with that because from where I stand, when I look at the landscape, or the culture scape, so to speak, there is always policy. There is always policy, whether it is written or unwritten, spoken or unsaid. If even the policy is not to have a policy, there is always policy. And therefore the lack of policy cannot account for the lack of action.
Okay. But like okay, say in terms of art forms, right? You know, we always see as younger people who in business or even out in business, when it comes to carnival, they always have where we have the different bodies, Patron, Railroad, Tuco, all these people, all these organizations, always battling with the government in terms of funding or with regards to there's no specific way that they distribute funding or have the shows. We look at there's no I may be mistaken, but in terms of our art forms, there isn't a space where a visitor could come in and experience all the various art forms. Do you think that governments overly, or I mean public on the whole, respect or see the need of harnessing this part of us that we consider very important, but and a lot of people out there. I mean, I have traveled, and every time you travel in groups, you stand out as a Trinidadian. One, especially if the language, the vibe is off, the music, everything. But when they come here, you don't really get that. You think you jump off the plane and you end up in a city in the States.
But is that because of a lack of policy?
No, I don't think it's a lack of policy, really. But I think
and that's the point I'm making. Your policy is really